In this video, I'm going to show you how to find inspiration to produce music for licensing. Now, there is no secret that you can find inspiration anywhere, but I'm going to be talking about a little bit of more of an active pursuit of inspiration when it comes down to music licensing. And I'll give you an example. I've been watching a lot of series, obviously, on Netflix, and I'm a big fan. You know, I like to binge watch late at night with my wife. The latest series that I've been watching is Sons of Anarchy. Yes, I know, this is a very old series. I just quite recently started watching it, and it's just been fascinated about it, and especially the music. There are some series that really focus on the music, and this is a perfect example. Whenever I'm watching something on Netflix, I am usually drawn, obviously, as a composer, to see how the music fits the series, the movie, the documentary, whatever it is, okay? And Netflix is a big player because I mentioned before, there are a lot of placements on Netflix of music coming from Pond5. Okay, I've shared this before with you on previous videos. I've just been really obsessed with Sons of Anarchy type of music. Obviously, this type of music is down my alley. I've seen a lot of playlists on Spotify. I've seen a lot of people as well on YouTube. They have a lot of playlists or just a whole cult, if you will, or a whole fan base around this type of music because it evokes certain feelings. So I've been watching a lot of Sons of Anarchy lately, and I've been composing music like that in that style. And I want to share with you very quickly here what I caught. Obviously, if you're a guitar player, you come from a rock background like I do, this is really easy to produce and easy to compose. But the most important thing is, how can I get inspiration to write that type of music? And when I see a very real life example, like in Sons of Anarchy, and how they frame the whole music with the images and the story of this series, then it gives me like, okay, I can tap into that and really use that as an inspiration, because inspiration has to come not only from within but from something outside of ourselves. And we usually have to watch a film or read a book or go for a walk, and in this case Netflix is just a mind blowing resource for us to get inspiration by just watching a series, by just watching a documentary, by just watching anything that you're really following on Netflix. You can just absorb that and say, how can I turn that into a music track for my catalog? So this is what I've been working on. Again, I'm using the same kind of like template that I do when it comes down to recording. It's not developed the idea yet. I'm still recording on a loop, but I just want to break it down for you very quickly so you can see how it sounds. And you know, it's in the ballpark of a track in the style of Sons of Anarchy type of series. So here we go. Obviously, I'm going on a loop. I did a video quite recently about how I compose on a loop, and this is what I do. So let me break it down very quickly how I produce this music track. Now, I started with one guitar, and it's just a real rock and roll blues riff. Really, I'm using the chord progressions of blues rock. So this is what it will sound like. That's the chord progression. It's just a blues rock chord progression, and you know, I just double it up with a different guitar all the way pan to the left. So you can see here that this is the main riff. The first one, the left guitar, was just like really like a 4-bar. And then I doubled it up, and then I recorded the other guitar all the way through. So I really started with a 4-bar first of all, and it just, you know, just to get the essence of the composition. There are two different guitar parts played, and I play this with a metronome like this. And that's how I start the composition. Then I add a drummer very quickly. A bass. And finally the lead guitar, okay? So it's just a melody. I want it to be as catchy as possible. I spoke about this in my latest video about how to start composing music faster and start with a chord progression, then the melody or the motifs, if you will, and the rhythm. In this case, I started with a melody at the very end, because it's just like a guitar melody solo kind of thing. So I can spice it up a little bit, but at the end of the day, what it is that I want the melody to be as catchy as possible, okay? So these are the three elements of music, really, when it comes down to composition. Chord progression, melody, and rhythm. What's the tempo, what's the heartbeat of this track? So this is the melody, or the motif. So it's just looping here, okay? But by the time I get to the arrangement, then we can start spreading things out a little bit, find an intro, find a verse and all of this. But what I want to show you is how you can get very quickly an idea down by just working on a loop again. And by really just focusing on what chord progressions are going to create these emotions, what kind of rhythm do I need. Obviously, it's a blues chord progression, if you will. And it's just a classic. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I just play some blues chords in a particular order, and it creates that vibe, it creates that music style. And then it's all about the tone. We as guitar players, we're obsessed with the tone, and that's when different amps and different things come into play. I've been using this particular red blues kind of preset. It's a factory preset. I haven't touched it or anything. And it's just something very classic when it comes down to the tone of a guitar. I'm using a Tele as well for this. Just a Telecaster for all of the guitars. And the lead has a little bit of more gain, if you will. But that's all it is. I mean, here in this kind of composition, we're going for that sound, for that raw element of a blues rock, and be a little bit aggressive as well. And yes, the amps will play a big role, if you will, for sure. It will really play a big role in how you play the instrument and how you can recreate this type of vibes. Now, if you are a cinematic composer, then you have to focus a lot on the samples, on how the violins or the string sections will be recorded and programmed, and how that will evoke certain emotions. And this can be applied to any style of music, really. This is a very stripped down version of what a track is, but this is how it all starts. That's my point, that this is where it all begins, and it begins just with me jamming a few chords, just lay the idea down on a loop, get some melodies going, and then I can start working and get out of the loop and just go like this now, and instead of like just staying stuck there. But the most important thing is to have this as fast as possible. I cannot stress that enough. How can I get there as fast as possible? And I'm not saying that you should rush it. I'm just saying that I know what kind of sound I'm looking for, and I know what kind of emotions I want to evoke. And because I'm getting inspiration from a TV show or whatever, and I've been watching this all of these nights now. I'm on season 5, I think. And by the way, don't leave any comments on how the whole season or how the whole series is going to evolve. Because I'm still watching it, but I've been watching this series, and every day, even the theme song is really blues rock. I really love it, and I'm really in that phase of going back to my roots of guitar playing, of rock, of blues, and really I've been listening as well to Gary Moore, and going back to where it all began, because that's how I started, you know. I learned how to play the guitar very early on when I was a kid, and I went through the whole phase of blues, rock, B.B. King, all of these things. So when I hear this type of music, I go back to the beginning, and go back to just the guitar, just the bass, the drums, just like a band, really, really the essence of rock and roll. And watching this series, Sons of Anarchy, it really it just gives me so much inspiration to play the guitar, and just go for a nice tone on an amp, some distortion, and I feel really at home in this type of compositions, and I really want to see how much more can I compose like this and add that to my catalog, really. So anyways, just a quick video about composition again. I want to really put a lot of music out there and start composing as much as possible and get inspired. Leave in the comments what type of series are you watching on Netflix, and what are you following lately. If you're somebody that is new to music licensing or to royalty-free libraries, download my free guide, link in the description. And as always, thanks a lot for all the love and support. Thanks for all the comments, for all the messages. Rock and roll, and here's to your success.